Forest fans, take a deep breath. Today we've got 5 absolute bombshells about the Reds, and none of them are light. We've got a promising young talent making his first big move away from the city ground. Serious behind-the-scenes drama that could shake the very foundations of our season. A magical European draw that'll take you right back to our greatest night in 1979. Continental fixtures that will test every fiber of this squad. And a Brazilian signing that's got Evangelos Marinakis opening his wallet wide again. But this isn't just another week at the city ground. This is the week that could define our entire future direction. Academy prospects are moving on to the next level. Relationships between manager and hierarchy are fracturing in the most public way possible. European football is beckoning after 3 decades away. Fixture lists are being drawn up that will test every single player we've got, and transfer millions are flowing from South America straight into Nottinghamshire. Now tell me, do you think we're building something truly special here? Or is everything falling apart just when we need stability most? The young lads are spreading their wings, the gaffer's at war with the suits upstairs. Continental competition is calling our name, and Brazilian flair is heading to the trend end. This mix could either propel us to glory or tear us apart completely. What's your gut feeling about where this club is heading? Are we witnessing the birth of something magical or watching it all unravel in real time? The evidence is pointing in multiple directions, and honestly, it's impossible to predict which way the season will swing. Drop your thoughts in the comments and smash that like button right now, because the first revelation involves one of our brightest academy prospects, and it shows exactly how this club is planning for the future. But I warn you, what comes after that will shock you to your core. And he's been the future of our goalkeeping department for over a year now, but something massive has just changed in his development journey. A young shot stopper who's been turning heads at academy level, making saves that shouldn't be humanly possible, and showing the kind of raw potential that makes you believe tomorrow will be better than today. But right now he's packing his bags and heading away from the city ground for the next crucial phase of his career. I'm talking about George Murray Jones. And what's happening with this lad is actually brilliant news for both him and our long-term future. The 20-year-old goalkeeper has just officially joined Chester on loan until January. And let me tell you, this isn't just any random temporary move designed to get him some game time. This lad came to us from Manchester City last August. Yes, that Manchester City, the club that produces England internationals and sells players for 9-figure sums. And since arriving at the city ground, he's been absolutely nothing short of spectacular in everything he's touched. He was a regular starter as Forest development squad won the Premier League International Cup. And get this, we beat Lyon in a dramatic penalty shootout final. Just imagine that pressure for a second. Imagine those stakes, the weight of expectation, thousands watching, and this kid was standing between the posts making it all happen when it mattered most. Craig Mulholland, our head of football development, says they had a very clear plan mapped out for George's entire development journey when he first signed from City. The first part of that plan? Executed absolutely perfectly with what he describes as significant positive development at academy and reserve levels. Now it's time for step 2. Proper, gritty, unforgiving men's football at Chester in the National League North. Chester aren't mugs either, by the way. They reached the National League North playoff final last season under manager Callum McIntyre, showing they know how to handle pressure situations and big occasions. This isn't us throwing our bright prospect to the wolves without any support structure. This is strategic, calculated development at its absolute finest. Currently sitting 12th after 5 games, Chester desperately need a quality, reliable keeper. And George desperately needs proper match experience at senior level where mistakes have real consequences. Our excellent player pathways team will be monitoring his progress and supporting him every single step of the way throughout this loan spell. This is modern football development done absolutely right. Structured, supported, strategically planned, and designed for maximum long-term benefit rather than short-term convenience. What do you think about this loan move? Smart, patient development that'll pay dividends? Or should he be pushing for first team minutes here at the city ground? Let me know your honest opinion in the comments below. And if you think strategic planning and patience is impressive, Just wait until you hear about the absolute chaos and drama brewing right inside our manager's office. There's been serious tension brewing behind closed doors for weeks now, and it's finally exploded into the most public, most embarrassing view imaginable. Our gaffer has been saying things in press conferences that make your blood run absolutely cold, openly admitting that crucial relationships have completely broken down, and now emergency crisis talks are being frantically scheduled to try and save whatever's left of this deteriorating situation. I'm talking about Nuno Espirito Santo, and the rift between him and the club hierarchy runs so much deeper than anyone initially imagined. Before our opening Premier League game, Nuno absolutely slated the club's pathetically slow transfer activity pace in what can only be described as a scathing public attack on his own employers. Then last Friday, he took the whole situation completely nuclear in what was honestly one of the most extraordinary press conferences I've ever witnessed from a Forest manager. He said there's no smoke without fire when directly asked about persistent rumors that his job was genuinely under serious threat from the board. Even more shocking than that, he openly admitted that his previously close relationship with owner Evangelos Marinakis had completely and utterly deteriorated beyond repair. But here's where this story gets really interesting and really complicated. Nuno's main beef isn't actually with Marinakis himself. It's primarily with our recently appointed head of football, Edu Gaspar. Yes, the exact same Edu who spent years as Arsenal's technical director, masterminding their transfer strategy and player recruitment. The man specifically brought in by Marinakis to completely revolutionize our transfer approach and bring some Premier League expertise has somehow managed to completely alienate our Portuguese manager to absolute breaking point. Emergency clear the air talks have been hastily scheduled for the upcoming international break. Marinakis and Nuno face to face, one-on-one, trying to sort this absolute mess out once and for all before it destroys our entire season. Recent reports suggest the atmosphere at the City Ground has been described as much calmer lately, especially with several new signings finally coming through the door after months of frustrating delays. When pressed by journalists about whether he regretted his explosive, inflammatory comments, Nuno was completely defiant and unapologetic. I don't regret it because it was completely honest. When you're honest and true to yourself and your principles, you never have to regret speaking the truth. The fundamental question here is, in a business where diplomatic silence and political awareness usually trump brutal honesty every single time, is Nuno's refreshingly authentic approach actually admirable? Or is it dangerously naive and potentially self-destructive? Some fans will argue he was absolutely right to put serious public pressure on a hierarchy that wasn't delivering what he needed. Others will counter that airing dirty laundry in public undermines team morale, gives ammunition to our rivals, and makes the club look unprofessional. Do you think Nuno was completely right to speak out publicly about these issues? Or should he have kept everything behind closed doors like most managers do? Are you firmly Team Nuno or Team Edu in this increasingly bitter power struggle? Drop your brutally honest opinion below. And speaking of looking forward instead of backward, the next story will transport you straight back to our absolute greatest European night in history. May 30th, 1979, Munich's legendary Olympia Stadium. Trevor Francis rising majestically to meet John Robertson's perfectly weighted cross, the ball nestling in the back of the net. Our first and only European Cup triumph, the single greatest night in Nottingham Forest's entire illustrious history, the moment that changed absolutely everything forever. 46 years later, against all odds and expectations, they're coming back to the City Ground. I'm talking about Malmö, and the Europa League draw has served up the most perfect, most poetic, most spine-tingling fixture that could possibly be imagined. Nottingham Forest will host a complete rerun of our legendary 1979 European Cup final victory when we face Swedish champions Malmö at the City Ground. The same Malmö we beat 1-0 in that absolutely unforgettable Munich final will visit Nottinghamshire as part of our 8 Europa League fixtures this season. This isn't just another match on the fixture list. This is pure footballing destiny written directly in the stars above. This represents our triumphant return to European competition after exactly 30 years away from the continental stage. 30 years of waiting, hoping, dreaming, and believing this moment would eventually come again. And the football gods, in their infinite wisdom, have given us this incredible gift of facing the exact team from our most famous, most celebrated European victory. But here's the absolutely twisted irony of how we've ended up in this competition. We're only here because Crystal Palace got completely stitched up by UEFA's bureaucracy. European football's governing body ruled that Palace had breached multi-club ownership rules and unceremoniously demoted them from the Europa League to the Conference League. Palace's devastating loss became our unexpected continental gain, and reports suggest Evangelos Marinakis was sitting mere yards away from Palace co-owner Steve Parish during the actual draw ceremony. The tension between them was apparently absolutely palpable. They didn't exchange a single word throughout the entire event. This isn't even our first reunion with Malmo since that famous Munich night. Back in the 1995-96 UEFA Cup, we played them twice in a dramatic two-legged first-round tie, eventually progressing on away goals after two closely fought matches. Now it's just one match. Winner takes all the momentum and psychological advantage. Our other home fixtures at the City Ground promise to be equally compelling and challenging. Porto arrived from Portugal with serious European pedigree, 2 continental cups in their trophy cabinet, and a long history of producing genuine world-class talent. Ferencváros from Hungary know exactly how to upset much bigger teams, having shocked Liverpool in recent Champions League action. Midtjylland from Denmark punched well above their weight to reach the Champions League through smart recruitment and disciplined tactical approaches. The away days present completely different but equally daunting tests of our European credentials. Real Betis in the magnificent Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium in Seville. Just imagine that atmosphere under the burning Spanish sun. Braga in Portugal, where their unique stadium carved directly into a quarry creates one of Europe's most intimidating and unusual venues. Sturm Graz in Austria, where passionate vocal fans make life absolutely miserable for visiting teams. And Utrecht in the Netherlands, well-organized, tactically disciplined opponents that absolutely nobody wants to face away from home. Are you more genuinely excited about the pure nostalgia factor of facing Malmö again, or the legitimate European tests against established teams like Porto and Betis? Can we realistically progress from this challenging group, or are we just happy to be back? Tell me your honest prediction in the comments. And if you think our European adventure sounds absolutely mouth-watering, wait until you see the complete fixture schedule that lies ahead. The dates are officially set, the opponents are confirmed beyond doubt, and the stage is perfectly ready for Nottingham Forest to announce our long-awaited return to European football in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. 8 crucial matches that will definitively answer whether we're back on the continental stage for good, or whether we're just making a brief nostalgic visit before returning to domestic obscurity. I'm talking about our hot, complete Europa League campaign. And these fixtures are going to test every single player, coach, and supporter associated with this football club. September 24th marks the official beginning of our European journey, with the grand final scheduled for May 20th, 2026 in Istanbul's magnificent stadium. We've been placed in pot 4 for the draw, automatically making us significant underdogs in almost every single matchup we'll face. But honestly, that's exactly how we've always preferred it throughout our greatest European adventures. The home fixtures at the City Ground are going to create an absolutely electric atmosphere that'll remind everyone why this club belongs among Europe's elite. Porto arrived with genuinely serious European pedigree, 2 continental cups sitting in their trophy cabinet, and an established history of consistently producing world-class talent that gets sold for massive transfer fees. Ferencváros from Hungary know exactly how to upset much bigger, more established teams, having recently shocked Liverpool in Champions League action with tactical discipline and clinical finishing. Midtjylland from Denmark punched well above their financial weight to reach the Champions League through incredibly smart recruitment and tactically sophisticated approaches under progressive coaching. And our emotional, nostalgic reunion with Malmö completes what should be a thrilling home schedule. Away from the comfort of the City Ground, we'll face completely different but equally challenging tests of our European credentials and mental strength. Real Betis await us in Seville's magnificent Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. Just imagine a passionate atmosphere under the burning Spanish sun with 60,000 voices creating an intimidating wall of sound. Braga's absolutely unique stadium, carved directly into a Portuguese quarry, creates one of Europe's most visually stunning and acoustically intimidating venues for visiting teams. Sturm Graz in Austria represents a traditional European test where passionate, knowledgeable fans make life absolutely miserable for visitors with constant noise and pressure. And Utrecht in the Netherlands might sound straightforward, but they are well-organized, tactically disciplined opponents that absolutely nobody wants to face away from home in knockout competition. The timeline is absolutely crucial for managing our entire season's ambitions and energy levels. Match day 1 kicks off on September 24-25, with our second fixture following quickly on October 2nd. By late November, we'll have already played 5 of our 8 group matches, giving us a clear indication of our realistic progression chances. The final 2 match days arrive in late January 2026, right during the Premier League's most physically and mentally demanding period, when squad depth becomes absolutely essential. Success in this competition means finishing in the top 24 positions to avoid immediate elimination, with the top 8 teams advancing directly to the round of 16 without additional knockout playoffs. The knockout phase playoffs begin February 19th, round of 16 action starts in March, quarterfinals take place in April, and semi-finals happen in early May, leading to the Istanbul final. Aston Villa, our fellow English representatives, should feel genuinely confident under Unai Emery's experienced European guidance against opponents like Feyenoord and Bologna. Meanwhile, Rangers and Celtic both face Roma at home after suffering heartbreaking Champions League playoff defeats that denied them the ultimate European stage. This won't be remotely easy for us. We're facing established European competitors with significantly more recent continental experience and deeper, more expensive squads built specifically for European competition. What's your completely realistic prediction? Are we progressing to knockout stages, or simply learning valuable lessons for future seasons? Which specific fixture excites you most? Comment your thoughts below. And our final story of today involves some serious Brazilian flair heading directly to the city ground. He's been absolutely lighting up Brazilian football with blistering pace, pinpoint precision, and the kind of devastating attacking threat that makes modern fullbacks an absolute nightmare for opposing defenders to handle. But now his immediate future lies firmly in the Premier League, a left-back who's genuinely caught Evangelos Marinakis' attention over several months of detailed scouting, and the deal is now practically completed and ready for official announcement. I'm talking about El Cuiabano. And Botafogo have just officially accepted our comprehensive offer for their Brazilian sensation. The 24-year-old attacking left-back has been firmly on Marinakis' transfer radar for several months now, and this particular transfer saga has contained more dramatic twists and unexpected turns than a typical Brazilian soap opera. During the recent Club World Cup, John Textor initially claimed that negotiations between Forest and Botafogo only involved central defender Jair and prolific striker Igor Jesus. But clearly behind the scenes, Cuiabano was always an integral part of a much bigger, more comprehensive transfer strategy. Here are the crucial numbers that really matter for understanding his quality and potential impact. 60 appearances since joining Botafogo in early 2024, contributing 7 goals and 7 assists from the left-back position. For a defender, those attacking returns are absolutely phenomenal and demonstrate genuine goal threat. This isn't just about defensive stability and positional discipline. This represents genuine attacking menace from wide areas that could completely transform how we approach matches tactically. The deal has been agreed between both clubs after extensive negotiations, but the final decision ultimately rests with Cuiabano himself regarding personal terms and contract details. Previously, he was genuinely keen on making the move to European football, but salary negotiations had stalled with Forest over specific financial terms. Now, with our significantly improved offer and the added attraction of Europa League football to offer, everything appears perfectly aligned for completion. The growing connection between Textor's Eagle Football Group and Marinakis' football empire isn't remotely new. They facilitated player moves worth over $700 million between their various clubs since early 2024. Danilo was the most recent player to move from a Marinacas owned club to Botafogo, while goalkeeper John just completed the journey in reverse, joining us from the Brazilian champions after impressive performances. Unfortunately, Cuiabano is currently recovering from a troublesome left ankle sprain suffered during Botafogo's match against Cruzeiro in early August. His last competitive appearance was over 3 weeks ago. But once he returns to full fitness, he'll bring genuine South American flair, technical ability, and attacking impetus to the city ground atmosphere. In modern football tactics, where fullbacks are increasingly expected to function as auxiliary wingers providing width and creativity, Cuiabano's impressive attacking statistics suggest he could be exactly what our tactical system desperately needs. His genuine pace will stretch opposing defenses and create space. His crossing ability creates dangerous goal-scoring opportunities, and his personal goal threat adds another crucial attacking dimension to our overall approach. But there are legitimate questions that need honest answers too. Can he handle the Premier League's notorious physicality and intensity week after week? Will he adapt quickly enough to English football's unique demands and tactical requirements? Most importantly for our ambitions, can he deliver the kind of consistently high-level performances that justify the significant financial investment during a crucial season? The Premier League represents a massive step up from Brazilian football in terms of pace, physicality, and tactical sophistication. Some South American players adapt immediately and thrive, while others struggle with the cultural and sporting transition. Cuiabano's attacking numbers are undeniably impressive, but defensive solidity will be equally important in English football. Do you think Cuiabano represents the attacking fullback solution we've been desperately missing? Can he handle the enormous step up to Premier League football, or will he need significant time to adapt? Share your brutally honest thoughts below. Like this video if you're genuinely excited about our ambitious transfer business, subscribe for regular Forest content, and get ready for next week, because we're diving deep into how these European fixtures could completely reshape our entire season strategy and squad rotation.